But I have now had enough of that sort of thing, and enough of exile. Dearest brother, you at least forgive me. I am coming home. Your unfaithful sister, Valerie. Chapter 2. Breathe, Lady Valerie Monroe whispered into the flutter of breeze curling down the hatchway. The wooden stair gleamed with fresh polish, inviting. Beyond the open hatch above, the azure sky seemed infinite. Setting her foot upon the lowest step, Valerie drew in a tentative breath. As though encouraging her, a current of briny air rushed down the hatchway, tangling in the sable locks escaping her bonnet, beckoning her aloft. She propelled herself up the steps onto deck. Risking her milky complexion, she tilted her face into the late afternoon sun spill and gazed up through lacy rigging into the heavens. The mingled scents of crisp salt water and acrid tar teased her nostrils. Gruff male voices rose through the tumult of activity across deck and on the quay beyond. Valerie filled her lungs, and a smile split across her lips. I can breathe again. Caught up by the wind, her words sounded like a prayer. She moved to the deck rail. On the dock below, sailors and tradesmen hustled about wharfed vessels, shouting in as many languages as colours billowed from lofty masts. A choir of brawny workers heaved crates and barrels onto her ship. Her gaze followed the procession of men and merchandise aboard, travelling aft, then up to the mainmast's tip, rising high above the roofs of the dockside buildings. A sigh trembled in her throat. In moments, at the whistle of the boatswain's pipe, the Dutch merchantman would embark for Portsmouth, for England, home. Valerie's starchy American cousins worried about her sailing alone across the Atlantic on a merchant ship, but Valerie didn't care a fig about the crossing. Her only thoughts were for her destination. 2 interminably long years had passed since she'd last teased her beloved brother Valentine, or embraced her dearest friend Anna, last run barefoot through a velvet Derbyshire meadow, last tickled her lips on champagne in a Mayfair mansion, last truly lost her breath dancing in the arms of a gentleman. 2 years of searing guilt. 2 years of alternating heartache and tedium. Now I am free, she murmured, imbibing the heady sea air like a tonic. Free of numbing misery. Free to make a new start. Her gaze slipped across deck and over the motley group of sailors making ready to set sail, boys and wizened elders. Dutchmen and ex-slaves, all weathered and wiry with sea-worn strength. Settling into her cabin earlier, she had overheard Cousin Abigail instructing the captain to clear the deck of idle sailors when Valerie came above. It would not do, Abigail whispered, for an unfortunate incident to occur during the crossing. With a giddy breath, Valerie laughed at the recollection. Abigail was a pea-goose. With the Earl dead, what use did Valerie have any longer for common sailors, or undergrooms, or junior footmen? The sun slipped behind the dockside warehouses, casting burnt shadows upon the bay. Soon they would be under way. Soon she would be with her loved ones again. Valerie worried her lip between her teeth. When she stepped off the ship in England, Valentine and Anna would greet her warmly. They might be the only ones. A whisk of wind grabbed a lock of hair and sent it scampering across her sight. Firmly willing away her unwanted thoughts, she drew the dark tress aside. She froze. 10 yards away, upon the dock, stood a man dressed in a black gown and a high-collared cape. Only the sharp edge of white at his neck relieved the grim costume. He held a black hat in one hand. As the breeze pulled at its broad brim, gold glimmered upon his finger. Valerie stared. The black-clad stranger was no country vicar or city bishop, pale-skinned, limp-wristed, and altogether distasteful. Despite his priestly garb, this man positively radiated masculine heat. Her lashes fluttered as her gaze travelled down his habit. The shape of the ebony robes and the hat were distinctive, the breathtaking male shape beneath just as alluring. A Jesuit stood before her, one of the legendary despised race of priests people uttered such thrillingly barbarous stories about.